In this video, we're going to go through on Singapore Chinese Girls' School Preliminary Examination, Primary 6 Mathematics Paper 2. So let's get started. So question 1 over here, it says the market is 7.5 kilometers away from Siva's house. Siva took 10 minutes to drive to the market. Find Siva's average speed for the journey. So first we need to convert 10 minutes to hours, right? So we have 10, all right, divided by 60, and this, let's have 1 over 6 hours. Okay, so speed is equal to distance divided by time. So in this case we have 7.5 divided by the time, which is 1 over 6, right? So let's go and use our calculator. So 7.5 and then divided by, okay, brackets 1 divided by 6, and this will give us 45 kilometers an hour. So 45 km per hour. So the answer is 45. Okay, that's it. Let's move on to the next question. All right, question number 2. Farah and Sue shared the cost of an oven. Farah paid $30 more than 5/8 of the cost of the oven. Sue paid $19. How much did the oven cost? Okay, so I would say let's one unit be the oven cost. So Farah, she paid $30 more, so 30 plus 5 over 8. Okay, $30 more than the cost of the, what do you call this, the oven. So what about Sue? So Sue is equal to 1 unit, which is the whole oven, minus bracket $30. So this $30 plus 5 over 8. Okay, so this will then will be equal to, in essence, 1 unit minus 30, and this plus will also become minus. Okay, and then 1 unit minus 8 units, this will then become 3 over 8 unit minus $30. Okay, so then since we know that Sue paid $90, so that means 3 of 8 units minus 30 is equal to $90, right? So 3/8 unit is equal to 90 plus 30, which is 120. So 8 out of 8 units, or 1 unit, which is the oven cost, which is equal to 120 divided by 3 times 8. Okay, and this will give us, should be $3.20. So let's double check. So 120 divided by 3 times 8. Okay, this would be $320. Okay, there you go. That's the answer. All right, let's move on to question number 3. All right, so question 3. Kelly had two 4/5 liters of juice. She used it to fill as many identical glasses as she could to the brim. Each glass was 1/4 of the juice. How much juice did she have left? So easiest way is to convert fractions to liters. Okay, so that means 4 over 5 liters is equal to, so you can have it like where, in this case, so 4 divided by 5, this is 0.8. So 2 liters, 2.2 plus 0.8, which is 2.8 liters. Okay, then this is total juice, right? Choice juice. Okay, 2.8 liters. Okay, then for 1 glass is equal to 1/4 liter, which is equal to, in this case, 1 divided by 4, 0.25 liters. So number of glasses is equal to 2.8, right? And then divided by 0.25. Okay, let's see the calculator. 2.8 divided by 0.25. This will give us 11.2 glasses. So from this, the remainder, right? Okay, let's just put here, right? Okay, so 11.2 glasses. So 0.2 uh, is basically glasses, right? So is equal to, so we know that 1 glass is 0.25 liters. Then 0.2 glasses is 0.25 divided by 2. 0.2, yeah, 0.2. Actually times 2, right? It's times 0.2, right? 0.2. Okay, so we know that one glass is equal to 0.25 liters. Okay, 0.2 glasses is equal to 0.25 times 0.2. Okay, so 0.25 times 0.2, this will give us 0.05. 0.05. So convert how many joules? I guess 0.05 liters lah, in this case. So these glasses or remainder in the right. So you can put 0.05 or convert another option. So 0.05, okay, which is basically 5 out of 100, okay, which is in this case 1 out of 20 liters. So this one is liters as well. Okay, so it can be 0.05 or 1 out of 20 liters. So, or 1.20 liters in this case over here. Okay, so yeah, that is it. Remainder in fractions is equal to this one. Alrighty. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Question number 4. Okay. In the figure below, ABC is a right angle. So you see this is a right angle triangle. Okay. And BCD is an isosceles triangle. So BC is equal to CD and AED is 76 degrees and BDC is 58 degrees. Find BAC. So this one over here. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna highlight this red so we know which one to get. All right, so for this, um, if I were to highlight the triangle over here, right, which is the right angle triangle, which other angle do you think that we need in order for us to get this angle, this red angle over here? So if your answer is this angle, then you're right. Okay, so we can get this angle. So at the same time, in this angle over here, this green angle, what angle do we need in order for us to get this green angle, right? So in this case, we need, I would say, two angles, right? So one will be this, let me use another one. We need this big angle. So let me just put this big angle minus this, I will say yellow angle over here, lah, right? And then we can get this green. So are we able to get this blue angle over here? Yes, we can. Okay, so if I were to just remove these lines, okay, so how do we get this blue angle? Is from this isosceles triangle, okay, which is basically BDC to get this blue angle. Okay, let's do that first. So angle, okay, BCD, okay, is equal to 180 minus 58 minus 58, okay, because this angle also is 58 degrees, right? I'm going to write here 58 degrees, right? So since it's 58, this is 58 because of isosceles triangle. So let's use the calculator. 180 minus 58 times 2 lah, right? Which is basically 64. Okay, so BCD is 64 degrees in this case over here. So let me make this into a blue angle and then I'm going to write here 64 degrees. Okay, so now we know the blue angle is 64 degrees. We want to get this orange angle. How can we get this orange angle? So this orange angle, if I were to change this triangle to this angle instead, this triangle instead, to get this orange angle, we need to find this other angle. So let me use another color. Maybe I will use pink lah, right? Pink. We need this angle, right? So if we can get this pink angle and 180 minus 58 to get this pink angle, we can get this orange angle. So to get this pink angle, we can minus 76 with 180 to get this pink angle. So this is angle DEC. Okay, so let's get angle DEC. DEC, which is equal to 180 minus 76, and this will give us 104 degrees, right? Okay, so this pink angle over here is 104 degrees. Okay, let me just put it like this. So now we can get the orange angle, which is DCE. So let's move this a bit up. Okay, so angle DCE is equal to 180 minus 104, then minus 58. And let's see what's the answer. So this one will be 180 minus 104, now 74 minus 58. Okay, this will give us 18 degrees. Let's double check. Okay, this is 18 degrees over here. Okay, so now we know that this yellow angle over here, yellow, is 18 degrees. And we know this blue angle is 64 degrees. We can find the green angle, right? So that later on we can find this red angle. So this green angle over here, which is angle ECB is equal to 64 minus 18, and this will, okay, and this will equal to, so let's use this calculator, minus 18, and this will give us 46 degrees. Right, so 46 degrees is this green color angle in this case over here. Okay, so now we know the green angle, and if I were to highlight this triangle back to where we want to focus on, right? So with this right angle triangle, and we have the green angle over here, which is this one. Let me just move this a bit here, right? So now can we find the red angle using the green angle and the right angle? Yes, we can. So in this case, angle BAC is equal to 180 minus 90 minus 46, which is equal to, so 180 minus 90 minus 46, 44 lah, right? So 44 degrees. Okay, there we go. So that's the answer to this question, 44 degrees. All right, let's move on to the next question. Question number 5. Okay, so it says here the figure below is made up of two identical triangles, right? 1 and 2. So triangle AGH and triangle BGH. So it's an overlapping triangle. This is drawn within square ABCD. So EF is 2/5 of BC, right? So the area of the shaded parts is 36 centimeters square. Find the area of triangle AGH. So we know that if EF over here, if I were to zoom in a bit, so this is 2/5. So that means EF over here is essentially 2 units. And then BC, which is this whole thing over here, it is 5 units. Okay, so that's just some thing to take note when it says here EF is 2/5 of BC. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight the triangle AGH. That's what you see over here. All right, so find the area of the triangle AGH like this. Okay, so for area of triangle AGH, I'm going to write down here. So angle AGH, triangle AGH area. So what do you think is the base, right? Half times base times height. So what is the base for AGH area? So for this, if I were to just draw this out, wait, okay. So in this case, you see that the perpendicular line is over here. Okay, so I'm gonna draw this, and I'm gonna draw this. Okay, so it looks like this. Okay, so and I'm gonna draw the red box over here. Okay, it should be red. Okay, so that means for this, don't know whether, yep. So for AGH, the base is, right, half times So the base is GH, right? Times GH times, and then the height is AD. So we also know that since this ABC is a square, we know that this is also 5 units, right? So we know this is 5 units as well, okay, in this case, right? So now we know that this is 5 units. We need to know what's GH. Okay, so at the same time, AGH is also part of the um, shaded part, but it is minus off from this triangle. So let me create another colored triangle, which is this blue color one, right? Get solid. So one, two, in this case, let me just put here, two, and then number three is here. Okay. So this triangle over here, we know that the height is 2 units. Okay. So AGH. So this is EGH. Area is equal to half times. We also know the base is GH and times height, which is 2 units. Okay, because from the question it says 2/5 of BC is sorry, EF is 2/5 of BC, which is just 2 units, right? Okay, so this is EGH area. Then we also know that this shaded part is 36 centimeters square. Okay, so I'm gonna do a bit of a shortcut because this two area of the shaded part is basically just half lah of this, right? It's just half. So what I'm gonna do is just put say half half of shaded part, which is basically uh, AEG, okay, which is this thing here is equal to, let me just zoom out a bit, is basically half times 36, okay, which is in this case you can just 36 divided by 2, 18, right? So this is 18 centimeters square. Okay, so now we know that the shaded part is 18 centimeters square. I'm gonna put it here like this. Okay, make it yellow, I guess, easier to see. Okay, so this 18 centimeter square is basically this AGH area, this red color triangle minus a small one, right? Okay, so let's do that. So half times GH times 5 units is minus half times GH times 2 units is equal to, in this case, 18, right? So technically, right, since we have what do you call this since we have this GH over here, what we can do is we can kind of cancel it out lah, right? So because we will still be using this GH, okay lah, but basically it's another form of I would say algebra ish, right? Okay, so basically half times GH is 2.5 units times GH, right? Wait, times GH minus 2 units times, wait, this is 1 unit times GH. Okay, it's equal to 18 centimeters square. Okay, so same thing, lah, right? 18. So 2.5 times GH minus 1.5 is basically 1.5 units times GH, which is equal to 18. We can actually write this down. Okay, so now we know that this is 1.5. Okay, and we want to know AGH area. We want to get this 1.5 to 1. Okay, so we can just, in a sense, divide this by 1.5. So this will be 1 unit will be equal to 18 divided by 1.5. Okay, so 1.1 unit times GH. Okay, in this sense over here, all right, is equal to, so 18 divided by 1.5, 18 divided by 1.5, which is equal to 12. Okay, in this case, so now we know that 1 unit times GH is 12. Then we can swap this into the AGH over here, right? So AGH, right, we know, oops, that this, right, so AGH area, so I'm just gonna copy this down. AGH area is basically half times GH times 5 units, which is also basically 2.5 units times GH. So 2.5 G is basically 2.5 times then 12, right? Which is in this case over here 2.5 times 12. Okay, this will give us 30 centimeters square. Okay, there you go. So that's the answer, 30 centimeters square. All right, that's it. Let's move on to the next question. All right, so question number 6. The table below shows the number of magazines sold in a bookstore last week. So we have number of magazines sold Monday to Friday, 3y, Saturday and Sunday, 2y plus 10 and 4y minus 2. So part A, what was the total number of magazines sold last week? Express your answer in terms of y in the simplest form. Okay, so for this, we know that Monday, right, to Friday is equal to 3y, okay, times 5. Okay, so Monday to Friday is 5 days. Okay, 5 days. So 3y times 5 is equal to 15y. Right, so that means total is equal to 15y plus 2y plus 10 plus 4y minus 2. So altogether we have 15 to 17, 21y. 21y minus, no, sorry, plus 8 in this case over here. All right, so that's it, 21y plus 8. Okay, let's move on to the next one. All right, so next is part B. If y is 15, what was the total number of magazines sold on Saturday and Sunday? So Saturday and Sunday, so I'm gonna put here Sat plus Sun is equal to 2y plus 10 plus 4y minus 2, which is basically 6y plus 8. Okay, so that means if y is 15, so Saturday Sunday is equal to 6 times 15 plus 8. Alright, so 6 times 15 plus 8, 98. Okay, there we go. So that's the answer for this. The answer is 98. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Question number 7. The shopkeeper has some red and blue pens. After he sells 240 red pens, the percentage of pens he has that are red will decrease from 40% to 20%. How many red pens does he have at first? So this is what we call a constant part. Okay, so in this case over here, um, basically we only have the red decreased, but the blue stays the same. Okay, so we will have red and blue in terms of percentages. So before it says here that the percentage has will decrease from 40% to 20%. So for that, that means the red is actually 40, and then that means the blue is actually 60. Okay, so if I were to do the workings on top, before red before is equal to 40%. Okay, that means blue before is equal to 100 minus 40, which is 60%. Okay, so pretty straightforward like this, 40, 60. And then what's the change over here? Right, the change is the red sells 240 pence. Okay, so that means minus. So minus 240 red. Okay, in this case over here, right? Pretty straightforward. Okay, then after that we will have the after. Okay, so let me just put this over here, red, blue, blue before, then red after is equal to 20%, and then blue after is equal to 100 minus 20, which is 80%. Okay, so that means the after over here, let me just copy this and paste this here. So this is after, right? So the rate will be 20, 20, and the blue will be 80. Okay, so if we were to simplify this from 4 to 6 to 2 is to 3, so we divide it by 20, right, for both cases over here. So divide by 20, right, divide by 20. So this will then become 2 is to 3. Okay, so after will be divided by, let's divide by, I don't want to divide by 20, I want to divide by 10 because we want to, okay, divide 20 also lah, 20. Did it divide by 20 as well? So this will become, right, 1 over 4. 1 over 4. Okay, so in this case, the constant part, let me write down. We know that the blue remains the same as no blue pens were sold. Okay, so this is what we know. Therefore, we must make the blue ratio the same using lowest common multiple of 3 and 4, which is equal to 12. Okay, make this small, right? This one. Okay, so in this case, for this 3 and 4, we then multiply this by 4 in this case. Let me just use this again. Paste. Right, so this will be x4, and then this will be also x4 multiplied by 4. Okay, so that means the before will be 8. 8 is to 12, and then in this after over here, okay, this will be times 3. Okay, and then times 3, this will then become 3 is to 12, right? So now we know that the in this ratio difference, right, let me just put a change here so it's easier to see the before and after. Okay, so that means the rate before in, I will say in units, okay, is equal to 8 units. Okay, and then the rate after in units, okay, is 3 units. So now we know how many red pens were sold as well, minus 24. So red pens sold in units is equal to 8 minus 3, which is 5 units. Okay, so with that, let me see if I have enough space. I think I do. All right, so I'm gonna put like this. Okay, then that means 5 units over here will be equal to, so 5 units equal to 2240. So we want to know what's the pence at first, which is 8 units equal to 240. Oops, divided by 5 and then times 8. In this case over here, so let's do that. 240 divided by 5 times 8, 384. Okay, I'll just put that below. You go 384. So this 8 units is rate before, rate at first lah, right? Rate at first. Okay, there you go. So the answer is 384. Whoopsie daisy, 384, and that's it. Okay, let's move on to the next question. All right, so question 8. A shop sells identical rolls of colored wire of length 40 centimeters. Alice needs 120 pieces of wire, each length 7 centimeters. To complete an art project, what is the least number of rolls of colored wire that Alice needs to buy from the shop to complete her project? Okay, so common mistake that people do is that they think the rolls are infinite, but the rolls are actually maximum length of 40 centimeters. So in this case over here, we want to know number of 7 centimeters. What do you call this? Each of the wire in one 40 centimeter in one 40 centimeter roll, which is equal to 40 divided by 7. Okay, and in this case it will be around 5, right? 5 remainder something, all right. So 40 divided by 7, this will be 5 point something. So 5.7 dot dot dot. Yeah, then this will just be 5 lah. Okay. So now we know that 5 5 wires is equal to 1 roll. Then 120 wires will then be equal to 120 divided by 5 times 4, sorry, times 1 equal to E divided by 5, 24. So 24 rolls. Okay, there you go. That's the answer. 24 rolls or rolls in this case over here. All right, let's move on to the next question. All right, so question number 9. The solid below is made up of 8 identical unit cubes. So part A says draw the top view, which is this part, and the side view of the solid on the grids below. Okay, so we will have, let me just write this down, which is 1 over here. Then we have 2 at the top. Okay, it's really very small. Okay, so we just have 1. Okay, and then we have 2. Then we have 3. Then we have 4. Oops, I just duplicate this 4. Okay, then we have 5. And lastly, we have 6. So now we can draw. So it's basically like a inverted C-ish. So 1, 2, 3. So we just have one difference. Not one different, but one less cube. So you have 1, 2, 3, right? You see this over here. Okay, let me make the cube take all the space it needs. Okay, so 1, 2, and then we have 3, and then we have 4, and then we have 5. Oops, and then we have 6, like this. Okay, so all right. So now we want to get the side view. So the side view is just, okay, this one. So make it red, and then 2. All right, and then we have 3. So 3 cubes vertically, and then 4 and 5 is just beside each other. Okay, so with that it will be like an L. So 1, 2, 3, and then 2. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, and then 2. Okay, something like this. 1, 2, 3, and then 2. So you don't need this one, like this. So the answer will look something like this. Okay, here you go. All right, so 1, 2, 3. Oh, correct. You need the other one as well, like this. Okay, let's move on to part B. What is the greatest number of unit cubes that can be added to the solid without changing the front view and the side view? Okay, so the side view will look like an L, right? So we can actually add a few more, which is basically in this case we have 1 more, 2 more, and 3 more to get the exact side view. We can't really do much for the front view, so that means it's basically just 3 lah, right? In this case over here. Okay, so we just put 3. Okay, there we go. All right, let's move on to the next one. Question number 10. It says here the line graph shows the total volume of water collected in the tank from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. During which 1 hour interval was there no water flowing back into the tank? In this case, it's pretty straightforward. It's 1500 to 1600. Okay, so I'll say this. Oh, okay, right. Okay, so for this, in this case, there is no water flowing back because this is a straight line. So I'll just write here as well. So no water flowing back means straight line. Okay, straight line. So I see over here. So this will be 1500 to 1600. Okay, so let's move to the next part. Part B. How much of water flowed into the tank from 1300 hours to 1400 hours? Okay, so total volume collected. So we want to know what's the number of gaps first. Okay, so let me just make this in red. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so we have 5 gaps. So 5 gaps. right, is equal to the first number that we see other than 0 is 20. So one gap is equal to 20 divided by 5. This will become 4. Okay. So now we know how many is one gap. We know that from 1300 it is 20, and then 1400, let me just draw a red line so it's easier to see, like this. And then we draw another line, so it's one line before 40, so this should be 36, right, for this 1400. Okay, so 1400 is 36 liters, and then 1300 is 20 liters. So water flow is basically 36 minus 20, which is 16 liters in this case over here. Okay, there you go, that's the answer, 16 liters. All right, so next one, what was the average volume of water collected per hour? Okay, so we need to calculate all of the different uh what these are, liters of water. So let's go for the 1500, which is, let me just put it here, okay, in red, and then this will be in the middle. So we know 60 is here, 64, 68. So this is 68. Okay, so next one we want to, this is also 68. Okay, right, 68. And then lastly for 1500 hours. Okay, so this one will then be IT. IT. Okay, so this will be IT. So now we know that all of the numbers are here. Okay, 68, did it. So what was the average? So we know that she no need to calculate everything lah. We just calculate what is the final one, then divided by the hours itself. Okay, so at 1500, let's go to 80 liters, right? And then number of hours is equal to 1700 minus 1200, which is equal to 5 over here. So average is equal to 80 divided by 5, which is equal to 16. Okay, hours is 16 volume of water, which is liters per hour. So we just put here liters per hour in this case over here. Okay, there you go. That's the answer, 16 liters per hour. Okay, let's move on to the next part or next question. Question 11. Julie went shopping. After spending 3/8 of her money on a bag, she bought a wallet which cost $60 less than the bag. Finally, with the remaining money, she bought a dress which was half of the total cost of the bag and wallet. How much did Julia pay for the wallet? Okay, so what we can do is that in this, after spending 3/8 of her money, so 3/8 of money is equal to the bag. Let's convert it to fractions. Convert it to units, not fractions. Units. So that means total money, right? Total money is equal to 8 units, and the bag is equal to 3 units. It's equal to 3 units. Okay, so at the same time, she bought a wallet which cost $60 less than the bag. So the wallet itself, let's write it. Wallet is equal to a bag is $60 less than the bag. So bag less than minus dollars 60, which is basically 3 units minus dollars 60. Okay, say finally with the remaining money she bought a dress which was half the total cost of the, what do you call this, half of the total cost of the bag and the wallet. So remaining remaining money. Okay, we can just minus off, right? So it's equal to 8 minus 3 minus 3, which is the wallet, right? Minus 60. Okay, so if you know about when you see a minus, with the minus this will be a plus. So this will be 5 minus 5 my this should be 8 units lah. 8 units, 3 units, 3 units. So this will be 5 units minus 3 units plus $60, and this will become 2 units plus 60. Okay, so with the remaining money, she bought a dress, which was half of the total cost of the bag. Okay, so that means this over here is half the cost, right? So that means so that means this is a dress, and we also know the dress itself is also half the cost of a bag, half times bag plus wallet, right? So if you were to, simplify or just work this out, it's basically half times bag is 3 units plus wallet is 3 units minus 60. Okay, so then this will be half times, so this will be 6 units minus 60, which is equal to half times this is equal to beep. 3 units minus 30. Okay, okay, this is basically half, right? Half, right? uh Times 6 units minus half. Why is my half something wrong one? Half times 60. Okay, so this is what it means. Okay, so we know that the dress is equal to the dress itself over here. So what we're gonna do is, so 3 units minus 30 is equal to 2 units plus 60. Okay, so that means we have 3 units minus 2 units equal to 60 plus 30. 1 unit equal to 90, right? So now we know 1 unit is $90. How much did Julia pay for the wallet? So the wallet itself is this over here. Okay, so wallet is equal to 3 times 90 minus 60, which is basically 270 minus 60, which is $210. Okay, there you go. So that's the answer, $210. All right, let's move on to the next question. All right, so question 12. 9 identical small rectangles are combined to form a rectangle ABCD shown below. The perimeter of rectangle ABCD is 138 centimeters square. Find the area of the rectangle ABCD. Okay, so over here, we know that, let's just put, let L be length, let B be breadth. So we know that this over here is one length, okay, and one length and two lengths. So this is one L, right? A big L, and another one is another big L. And then at the same time, this is one L as well. This is one L, and then these two L's is basically equal to, right? If I were to just copy and paste this multiple times, okay, right? This is equal to a lot of B's or a lot of breaths. Okay, so let me copy this B and paste it over here. B, 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 B. Right, so how many B's are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so that means this whole thing is 7 B's, and then this is 2 L's. Right, so this is 2 L's. Okay, at the same time, we also know that this is also 1 B. Okay, and then this is also 1 L. 1L. Okay, over here. All right, so let's then do the equation. So let L be length and then let B be breadth. Maybe let's put it beside so it's easier to see. Okay, so we know that 2L is equal to 7B. Okay, so no. Okay, then that means 1L is equal to 7 divided by 2, which is 3.5b. So it's okay to have decimal places because pretty normal. Okay, so now we know this 1L is 3.5b, the perimeter of the rectangle. So 138 is equal to um 2L plus 1B plus 1L. Okay, and then we times 2. So essentially, I'll just put here ABCD length is equal to 2L and ABCD breadth is equal to 1L plus 1B. That's what you see over here, right? Or 1B plus 1L. Okay. All right. So in this case over here like this. Okay. So 138 is the parameter. So that means it's basically 2 times bracket length plus breadth. Okay, pretty straightforward. So if I were to just put this as like this, 138 is equal to ABCD length plus ABCD breadth. Okay, ABCD length plus ABCD breadth. Okay, nothing new, it's just a simple formula like this. Okay, so 2L plus 1B. So then we can break this down even further. This will be 3L plus 1B. So 3L plus 1B. Okay, break down even further. 1B is wait, sorry, 1L is, 3.5, so that means 3 times 3.5 B. Okay, and then this will then become let me just use calculator, should be not 3.2, 3.5 times 3, 10.5. Okay, so this will be 10.5 B, and then let's break down even further. So this is 11.5 B, right? So 11.5b, and then break this down even further, right? 11.5 times 2, this will be 23. Okay, 23. So I'm gonna just put here 23. 3b is equal to 138. Okay, so 1b is equal to 138 divided by uh 23. Okay, and this will become 138 divided by 23. Okay, it will become 6. Right, so one breath is 6. All right, so that means this ABCD length, right? So let's find out. So 1L is 6, one breath is 6 centimeters. Then 1L is equal to 3.5 times 6, which is equal to, so 3.5 times 6, this will be 21 centimeter. Okay, right? Okay, so now we know length and breadth. So we want to calculate this as well. So I'm just going to put this down. Okay, like this. Then ABC length 2L is equal to 2 times 21, which is equal to 42. And then breadth is 1L plus 1B. So 6 plus 21, which is equal to 27. Okay, centimeters for both of this. So we want to get the area, right? The area is just basically length times breadth. Okay, so area, okay, area ABCD, okay, is equal to 42 times 27, okay, which in this case is equal to 42 times 27, 1134, okay, 1134 centimeter square. There you go. So there's the answer, 1134 centimeter square. All right, let's move on to question 13. The bar graph shows the number of electronic devices owned by 200 employees in a company. So number of employees and the number of electronics over here. So what fraction of the number of employees do not own any electronic devices? So in this case, okay, it's easy. One gap is 10. So this is 10. So fraction no devices, okay, is equal to 10 divided by out of, in this case, 200, 200, 200, which is equal to 1 out of 20. Okay, there you go. Pretty straightforward. 1 out of 20. Okay, let's move on. All right, so part B, how many employees own at least 2 electronic devices? Okay, so in this case, at least 2, which is basically this 2, right? 2, 3, and 4. So 2 over here is 80. 3 over here is, if you were to look at this, this is 60, right? So let me just put here 60. Okay, and then lastly 4 over here is 20. Okay, so now we can just combine. So total employees with at least 2 devices is equal to 80 plus 60 plus 20, and this will give us 160. Okay, pretty straightforward. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Right, question part C. What is the total number of electronic devices owned by all the employees in the company. Okay, so total number of electronic devices. Okay, so we just need to calculate more than zero lah. So let's do for one. What is 30 over here? Okay, so 30. So in this case, we want to get a total. So I'll just write here. Total is equal to 30 times 1 plus 80 times 2. And then we have plus 60 times 3 plus 20 times 4. Okay, so let's use the calculator. So 30 times 1, okay, plus 80 times 2, okay, plus 60 times 3 plus 20 times 4. Okay, this will give us 450. Right, there you go. So that's the answer for the total in this over here. Okay, let's move on to the next question. All right, so question 14, part A. The figure below shows two identical semicircles with a quadrant. The radius of the quadrant is 28 centimeters. Find the perimeter of the shaded part. Okay, so for this, let me make this red. So we want to get the radius over here, right? So 28 centimeters. I would say semicircle, not radius, diameter is equal to 28 and then divided by 2, this will be 14. Okay, so we know this part is 14, right? 1 4. Okay, so now we want to get the radius for semicircle. We don't need actually. Okay, so now we know this for, so we need these two parts over here. So we just need this 28 centimeters and also we need this whole thing over here, right? This whole thing over here. Okay, so and then we get this line as well, right? We get this line. Rikala. Okay, so from here we can just get two semi circle, what do you call this, two semicircle is equal to one full circle, right? So one full circle, which is basically parameter is basically pi times diameter, which is diameter, which is basically 22 out of 7, and then times diameter is 14. Okay, so let's use the calculator. 22 out of 7 times 14, this will give us 44 centimeter. So that's the two semicircle. The next one is we want to get the quadrant. So quadrant is equal to 1/4 times pi, right? You have pi as well, and then times the 2 times radius. So we know the radius of the quadrant is 28. So let's do this. So 1/4 times 22 out of 7 times 2 times radius is 28. Okay, let's use the calculator. 1 out of 4, 1 out of 4, all right, times 22 out of 7, and then times 2 times 28. This will give us also 44. Okay, so total parameter is equal to 44 plus 44 plus 28, and this will give us, right? So 88 plus 28, 116. Okay, 116 centimeters. Right, there you go. So that's the answer, 116 centimeters. Okay, let's move on to part B, right below here. So part B says the figure shows a circle with the center O and a trapezium OABC. The radius of the circle is 6 centimeters. Okay, let's do here 6 centimeters. All right, so and then AB over here is 9 centimeters. Find the area of the shaded part, in this case over here. So if I were to zoom it in, right? So we know that the radius is 6 centimeters. That means this is also 6 centimeters as well. Okay. So at the same time, we also can get this triangle, this trapezium over here, since this is a right angle, right? So now we know that this is also a right angle triangle. So what will be the base for this right angle triangle, right? This will then be 3 centimeters. Make it a little bit smaller so it's easier to see. Right, so 3 centimeters. Let me see. Let me make this as big as this. Okay, this is 3 centimeters. If I were to just put my little line over here, okay, so 3 centimeters, 3 centimeters, right? So what's the height? The height is also 6 centimeters as well in this case. Okay, so nothing new to for this, right? Then that is how we get the triangle. So our base is 3 centimeters and our height is 6 centimeters. The next one is, how do we get this? Right, so basically we need to get the this whole square, right? This whole square, let me put it solid like this, and then we minus the what do you call this quadrant over here. So I'm going to put an arrow. So this quadrant over here, then yeah, we just minus it and then we will get the answer lah. Okay, so that is basically how we get the area. Okay, so let's do the area of the triangle. So area of triangle, this case is basically half times base times height, which is equal to half times base is 3 times height is 6. This will be 9 centimeters square. Oh, square over here. Okay, so that's the base 9 centimeter. I mean the triangle. Now let's get the square, the quadrant. So quadrant area is equal to 1/4 times then pi, and then 2 pi no pi r square, so radius times radius. Okay, so we know that the radius of the circle is 6, so 1.4 times 3.14, right, times 6 times 6. Okay, this should be something like 27. Okay, so 3.14 times 36. Okay, and then times or divide by 1 over 4. Okay, so 28.26. So that's the quadrant area. Okay, centimeter square. Okay, so now we know the quadrant area. We want to get the red uh square. So square area is equal to 6 times 6. Okay, nothing new. This is 36. Right, double confirm 6 times 6. Okay, 36 centimeters square. All right, so I will say the cutout, the uh, quadrant square cutout area, okay, is basically 36 minus 28.26. Oops, 28.26. And this is equal to, so 36 minus 28.26, 7.7.4 centimeters square. So now we can get the total shaded area. Right, total shaded area is equal to the area of triangle 9 plus 7.74, which is 16.74. Okay, oops, 16.74 centimeters square. All right, there you go. So that's the answer, 16.74 centimeter square. Alrighty, let's move on to the next question. Question 15, he says here PQRS is a parallelogram. So I'm gonna write this here. Parallelogram like this, 1, 2, and then 3, and 4. Okay, so now the next thing is PQT and PVU are straight lines. So let me just draw some lines. PQT is one straight line and PVU is another straight line. Okay, so next one, QWV is 50 degrees. So over here, oops, right, so 50 degrees. WQV is 38 degrees. QSR, WSR, sorry, is 29. QPW is 21. And QTU is 67. All right, find SPW. Right, S and then P and then W in this over here. All right, so SPW is, I'm gonna draw it red or blue instead. Okay, like this, right? SPW, the blue angle over here. Let me zoom this in a bit. Right, in order for us to get SPW, what can we do? Okay, so we can get the angle over here. So let me just draw this as red. So if we can find this green angle, we are able to get this blue angle. So how do we get this green angle? Actually, don't need this green angle lah, right? So basically, we just need to find this total angle over here. This I will just put this whole green color here. So how do you get this green color? So if you know parallelogram, it's also the same as the opposite, right, over here. And then if I were to highlight another triangle, let me make it blue, right, like this. So you can see this triangle over here, right? So in this case, we have 38, we have 29, and we have this green color one. So let's get QRS in this case. So angle, right, QRS, which is equal to 180 minus 38. I'm going to put here 180 minus 38 minus 29, which is equal to, so let's use the calculator. 29 minus 38. Okay, this will be 113. So 113 degrees. That's what I see over here. Okay, so this is 113 degrees. Okay, let's make this into green. So that means the opposite is also 113, this green color over here. So I'm going to say angle QRS is equal to angle QPS, right? QPS in this case over here, right? So now we know that what is angle QPS, which is 113. That means we can get angle SPW, which is the blue angle. So angle SPW is equal to 113 minus 21. Okay, and let's use the calculator. Minus 21, and this will give us 92 degrees. Okay, there you go. So that's the answer for SPW, 92 degrees. All right, let's move on to part B. Okay, so each statement is true or false or not possible to tell. Put a tick to indicate answer. So SPW is equal to RVW. Okay, SPW is equal to RVW. So let's zoom in. RVU. Sorry, RVU. So we want to know whether RVU, which is this, is also 113 degrees. Okay, so we want to get RVU. Okay, so which is pretty straightforward. It is vertically opposite on this angle. Okay, so let's have that. So angle QVW, which is also equal to angle RVU. Okay, RVU, and let's calculate this, which is equal to 180 minus 50 minus 38. Okay, calculator. So 180 minus 50 minus 38, and this is 92. Okay, so 92 degrees, right? So let me just put this as is, right? Okay, so that means QVU and RVU is equal to 92 degrees. However, that is not 113 degrees. That means this is false, right? Okay, so with that said, okay, so SPW, whoops. All right, so since QVW is 92 degrees, that means angle SPW, right, which is 92 over here. So SPW is equal to also 92 degrees, which means this is true. So we can just tick true over here. All right, let's move on to the next part. Okay, so the next question says whether TU is equal parallel to QV. So whether we know whether TU is equal to QV is to see whether this is equal to this. So anything parallel on a straight line, it's always that lah, right? So in this case over here, we find out PWQ, right? PWQ over here. Okay, why we want to find PWQ is because if we are able to get PWQ, we are able to get PQW, and then from here we can combine the purple color with 38 degrees angle and see whether this is equal to 67 degrees. So PWQ is basically this angle. Since this is a straight line, minus 50, this is 130, which is the blue angle. So once we know the blue angle, we can get the purple angle, which is 180 minus 130 minus 21, which is 29 degrees. So now to see whether this is equal to this, we have 29 plus 38, which is PQV, and then this will then become 67. And since these two angles over here, right, these two angles over here, angle, wait, angle PQV is equal to QTU, wait, right? Then that means TU is equal to QV, right? In this case over here, right? So that means for the last statement, it is true as well. Okay. All right. So question 16. A rectangular tank measuring 75 centimeters, 40 centimeters, and 48 centimeters was 33/4 filled with water. Tap A was turned on to fill the tank with water at a rate of 4 liters per minute. 3 minutes later, tap B was turned on to drain the water out of the tank. From the time both taps were turned on, it took 20 minutes to drain all the water from the tank. What was the rate of the flow of water from tap B? Okay, let's do this step by step, right? So, um, 3/4 height is equal to length and breadth times height, which is 4. Okay, never mind. So we can just put rectangular tank, 3/4 of rectangular tank water is equal to 3 out of 4 times length times breadth times height, which in this case equal to 3/4 times 75 times 40 times 48. Okay, let's use the calculator, right? So 3 out of 4 times 75 times 40 times 48. Okay, this will give us 188,000 centimeter cube, right? And this will then become 108 liters, lah, right? So 108 liters. Okay, so now with this, tab A was turned on at a rate of 4 liters, right? So 3 minutes later, so tank water after 3 minutes, let me just put this on top, 3 minutes of 4 liters of water added is equal to 108, okay, plus 3 minutes times 4, okay, which is basically 120. Double check. So 108, okay, plus 3 times 4, 120, 4 liters per minute. Okay, so now we have 4 liters per minute. And tap B was turned on to drain the water out. Okay, so that means, right, so we have 120. So tap B need to drain out the water out of the tank. So, and it took 20 minutes. So rates of water to uh, drain, rate of water to drain all water in 20 minutes, okay, is equal to basically 120 divided by 20. Okay, so 120 divided by 20 is equal to, so use this one, 120 divided by 20, this will be 6 liters per minute, right? So since this is 6 liters per minute, then we need to drain out. So if need 6 liters to drain out, 6 liters per minute to drain out, yet 4 liters per minute coming in. That means tab B has to drain 6 plus 4, which is 10 liters per minute. Okay, there you go. So that's the answer. 10 liters per minute. Okay, so tab B rate. Okay, let's move on to the next question. All right, so question 17. The figure shown below shows a square that's divided into four parts, W, X, Y, and Z. The line AB is the diagonal of the square. So basically half. So the area of WX, which is half, right, is 1/4. And the area of X and Y is 3:2. Okay, so think pretty straightforward in this case. Let's do this, right? So W is to X is to Y. So we know W and X itself is 1 is to 4, right? So WX is 1 is to 4, and X is to Y is 3 is to 2. Okay, X and Y is 3 is to 2. So we just need to find the lowest common method. Since X is the same, use lowest, right, common multiple, right, lowest common multiple of 4 and 3 to get same number. So with that said, we just need to just multiply. Okay, so with that, we multiply this by 3. If this multiply by 3, we need to multiply this by 3. This then need to multiply by 4 as well. So 4, we multiply this by 4. Okay, so with that said, we need to then make this into 3 is to 12, right? Okay, so this is 3 is to 12, and then this will then become 12 is to 8. 12 is to 8. So therefore, the final one will be, let me just put a line over here. It will be 3 is to 12 is to 8. Okay, is to 8 in this case over here, right? This WXY. Okay, so great. So now we get the first part done. Second part is we know the area Z is 5 to 5. What's the length of one side? So we need to get the area. Okay, so let's get, so let me just write here W, right? Let me caps lock it. W is equal to 3 units, X is equal to 12 units, and then Y is equal to 8 units. Why am I U all capital letter? But okay, that's fine as well, right? So we also know that W and X is equal to half. So half of square is equal to W plus X, which is then 3 plus 12, which is 15 units. So, and we also know half of square is equal to X, no, not X, Y plus Z. Plus Z, in this case, right, Y plus Z is half of the square. So that means Z is equal to half of square, right, minus Y, which is basically 15 minus 7, sorry, 8 is equal to 7 units. Okay, so now we know Z is 7 units. The next thing is we know that it is also 52.5. So 7 units, okay, 7 units is equal to 52.5. Double confirm again, 7 units, 52. Okay, so we want to get, so what's the total units as well, right? So in this case, 1 unit is equal to 52.5 divided by 7. Let's use calculator. By 7.5. Okay, 7.5. So let me just bring this up so it's easier to see. Okay, so over here we can just do this. All right, so we want to get a total units, which is also area of square, is equal to basically 15 times 2, right? 15 times 2, 2 equal to 30 units. So that means 30 units is equal to 30 times 7.5. Okay, so 30 times 7.5, this will be 225. Thing is 15. So To get length of square is equal to root area. Okay, so area of square, so this, yeah. So in this case, we will get the root of 225. Yeah, I don't know if it's 15, but maybe I'm wrong in this. So let me use the scientific one. Okay, so square root of 225, 15. Okay, there you go. So the length of the square is 15 centimeters. All right, that's it. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want more of this kind of videos, subscribe down below and comment down what other things you want me to show you next. See you in the next one. Bye bye.